Hello and welcome to the Cricket Catch-Up from Guernsey Press Sport. Coming up, we'll reflect on a pretty good fortnight for Griffins. They've sealed the weekend championship and they've taken charge of the OD Wealth Evening League One title race to boot. Today, my guest is Carl Johnson, the relatively new chairman of the Guernsey Cricket Board. Carl, thanks very much for joining us.
Great, thanks for having me.
Great to see you. You're a former Siam Cup winning captain on the rugby pitch. Now, as I say, so recently taken on this new role off the field in a different sport as well. How's that going?
Going really well, actually. I'd say I'm still in the learning phase. I'm relatively new to cricket administration, so but really enjoying it. The cricket's in such a great situation, so I'm very lucky to take over a cricket board in such rude health. So.
Yeah, fantastic. And the Johnson name is all over cricket locally at the moment because you've got three sons playing in the local leagues. Were they a big driver? Was their involvement a big driver in terms of getting you involved off the field in cricket?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a rugby player, as you know. Two of my sons are football players, and one of them's a hockey player. So cricket's really the one thing we really share, and we're all very passionate about our cricket. So it made sense to get involved, and especially when the boys are at this age, and certainly enjoyed everything I'd done in cricket so far as well. So.
Yeah, brilliant. I gather you took Max for a few sixes at the weekend?
Yeah, well, I had to. That was payback, really. he got me out quite cheaply last year in the over 45s game, so I felt I needed to get some bragging rights back at the dinner table.
Did he give you some back chat for that?
Yeah, he did a bit, but yeah, he took it pretty well, actually. So.
That's good. Tough school. As I say, you're coming from that rugby background. That's a sport that's transformed completely over those 15 years since you lifted that Siam Cup. What kind of sense do you get of where cricket is in terms of its journey and how it's set up as a sport, bringing through players to play at island level, but also just club players too? Yeah,
no, I think it's a really similar situation. Obviously there's some differences, but it's the aspiration of moving the club forward, and in this case moving the whole cricket association forward in Guernsey, and trying to bring everybody with you. And that's the difficult journey that we have with rugby. And I think cricket is sort of slightly earlier in that stage. But I mean, there's a lot of support for cricket in Guernsey, and the more I spend in this time in this role, the more support you realise is out there in the community. So I think we're really well placed to do so.
Fantastic. Are there things from that rugby journey that you're looking to perhaps bring into the cricket sphere and lessons you learned from there that could work with cricket as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as I sort of mentioned, it's about making sure that you bring as many people with you, because as you sort of aspire to improve your standard and increase professional standards within the game, play at high levels and so on, you have to remember that not everybody in cricket or rugby wants to necessarily play at that level, and you still need to provide a game that is engaging for them as well. And that's something that is really important, because a sport can only be as good as the support that it gets around it. So that's something you should never forget, and it's something I think that we learned in rugby.
Well, stay with me. Let's have a look back at some of the latest action from the top level of Guernsey domestic cricket. As I mentioned at the start, it has been a fairly decent fortnight for Griffins, to say the least. It started with that final day finish in the weekend championship, where they knew a win over Wanderers would see them clinch the title. And unlike the week before, they certainly didn't slip up. Having bowled Wanderers out for 144, they made fairly light work of the chase. In slightly damp conditions, no DLS needed on this occasion though. Luke Letitia and Adam Martel both made useful contributions alongside opener Nathan Letitia, who saw his side over the line with an unbeaten half-century as Tom Kirk's team landed the title 4 years on from their back-to-back crowns.
Yeah, I mean, we're all absolutely ecstatic with it, to be honest. We felt we should have got it done last week, but to get it done today, everyone's really happy. We weren't sure how we'd go at the start of the year, but yeah, to put the performances on we've done, really happy.
And Griffins are now in pole position to claim a double two after edging out rivals Indies in Saturday's rearranged top of the table clash in Evening League One. On a day when both sides looked well up for it, it was young Marcus Thomas who helped Griffins rally at the end of their innings, seeing them through to a competitive total of 124. His brisk 29 would ultimately prove decisive. Indies would still have been confident though of chasing that target down, particularly with their batting lineup, but Griffins were on the money right from the off. Luke Bishard, the figurehead in their attack, getting Zach Damrell first up. Then there was a somewhat generous LBW decision, which gave him the prize scalp of Matt Stokes. Bishard absolutely pumped at this point. And he was right on it in the field too, doing brilliantly to get under and then hold on to this one from Indies opener Nathan Letitia, who was playing against Griffins in the shorter format. And that wasn't even the best catch of the day either. Having seen CJ Peatfield fall to the spin of Adam Martell, Tom Nightingale then took it upon himself to launch the counter-attack, hitting a couple of 4s and a 6 as Indies began to have more hope. But just as things were getting tight, Adam Wakeford popped up with a moment of magic to get rid of him. Tom Kirk, the bowler, the ball flying towards the boundary, Wakeford throwing himself to a catch of the season contender. That really killed it. Indies falling 11 runs short in the end as Griffins drew level with them at the top of the table on 11 points with the game in hand still. 3 and a bit rounds of fixtures to go then, Carl. What have you made of the action you've seen so far?
It's been tremendous, and it's been great to see a few of the youngsters involved as well. I think the club seem to have really embraced bringing them through and helping them in the game, but there's been some really exciting batting, hasn't there? We've seen some amazing centuries and a double century, obviously, from Stokesy. So
yeah, some incredible stuff and some incredible catching as well. What have you made of some of the fielding skills on show?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the fielding has really improved, which I think is probably something that certainly Savs and the coaching staff would have wanted to see from the last couple of years, and it really has strengthened this year. So hopefully we'll go strength to strength on that.
And just going forward then, you've obviously got some really good people working full-time for Guernsey Cricket at the moment. What are your sort of short-term priorities? Is there much to do right at the moment, or is it a case of waiting to see how things sort of pan out pandemic-wise and then planning ahead for next year and onwards? Yeah,
so it's difficult to plan ahead too far at the moment. As you mentioned, we've got a great team in the coaching side at the moment and administrators. They're all working together really well, and they seem to have just a really cohesive unit. So it's working out great for us, and we just need to wait till we get some decent fixtures in the future. But it's really just working to make sure that all parts of the game are operating and everyone is communicating the pathway for the juniors through into the senior cricket is operating smoothly. And we want to make sure that our senior team people aspire to play for it, and it's seen to be the sort of the top sporting achievement to play for Guernsey cricket.
Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, you know, you're quite new to the role, as we said, but are you hopeful from what you've seen so far that the kind of building blocks are in place for a positive future?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've been really impressed so far. You know, everything is there, and it's just a matter of executing the plan. And we obviously just need that international exposure at the tournaments for the 19s and the senior guys and ladies as well to really push on.
Yeah, we've seen what Jersey have done getting to T20 World Cup qualifiers. Clearly they have a size advantage and some players that have come in from elsewhere to bolster what they do. Is that something Guernsey cricket should be aspiring to, or is that a little bit out of reach?
No, absolutely. I think it is well within reach. You know, it might take a couple of years, but I think we've definitely got the talent here, and I think we've got a really strong system now building the young cricketers, and we just need to make sure that they keep in the game and that the level of coaching and provision of cricket for them allows them to reach their potential.
Thanks very much, Carl. Best of luck in the role. And just on that island front, Guernsey Cricket have named a 17-strong training squad ahead of next month's scheduled Interinsular in Jersey. There are 5 new faces as far as Interinsulars go in that setup. Martin Dale Bradley and Ben Wenzel from Irregulars, alongside Luke Bishard and Adam Martell from Griffins, and Kobo's Deck Martell too. Congratulations to all of them. You can read more about that training squad on the Guernsey Press website, guernseypress.com. That's all from me for now. We'll see you next time.